Right, boys and girls, it's time for an adventure. I did tease this a few weeks ago when I revealed the new look of my Land Rover 90. If you haven't been following the story with this car, this was my dad's car. It's been in the family since 1999, but I inherited it a couple of years ago, so I gave it kind of a refreshed look to make it feel a little bit more mine, whilst keeping it in line with Dad's original vision for the vehicle. Now, this thing has led a very simple life. It lives here at my mum's house, and it never really goes further than the sausage roll shop, which is 2 miles down the road. But we did take it on one adventure about 10 or 12 years ago. My mum had just bought a house down in Cornwall, and we decided to all go down as a family for Christmas. The initial plan was actually to take my dad's Range Rover Sport, but as we set off, we got a low tyre pressure warning. He didn't know how to put air in tyres, sums up my dad. He actually broke the valve for the tyre, and we were stranded at a petrol station about 10 miles down the road. So instead, we had to go in my mum's Audi S5, legit from my mum, and this Land Rover 90. It was one of those experiences that was sort of miserable and quite boring, but has now been burned into my memory as not only bonding time with Dad, but bonding time with this car, and its only real long distance trip, apart from when I used it in my band. And I used to take it to play gigs. But again, I think the longest single journey it's done is to Cornwall and back. So I thought, now that the car is mine and I want to take it on an adventure, that would be the perfect thing to do, to retrace the steps down to Cornwall. Also because my mum was like, oh, if you're going, I've got some stuff I need to get taken to the house. So essentially I'm now mum's delivery man, but that's fine because it gives me a chance to get behind the wheel of this thing again and go on a proper road trip. Now, we've never really had any sort of significant mechanical issues with this car, but as I just explained, it hasn't really done a journey much longer than 50 or 100 miles in a good 10 or 12 years. So I should probably do some mechanical checks. I'm a bit out of practice of doing this. First thing that's most important, of course, is to kick the tyre. That's on. Wipe that bad boy off. It did just have a service, so it should be absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, like, we are almost overfilled. Should I check anything else? I think that means we're ready to go. That's not your home. Oh, sorry. Well, the start of my journey today is a little bit boring because I've got about an hour and a half to do on the motorway, mainly the M4 and the M5, down towards kind of Exeter. Now, you might think that would be a disaster because, let's face it, Land Rover Defenders, Land Rover 90s, Land Rover 110s, not best suited to motorway life. It's not really where they excel, but this thing, oh my God, flying. I'm doing 68.5 miles an hour. I've calculated that myself. Quite hard to really cruise at 70. I can get to 70, but the minute I relax, it just wants to drop back down to 65. That's okay, but rock solid, smooth. It's not too noisy, it's not too rattly in here. I think what I'm going to do is try and utilize the slipstream of large lorries. Genuinely, I remembered this car being far worse in this environment than it is. Quite boring. I did unplug the sound system as part of my refreshing this vehicle because it was just never used. I regret that decision now. I've still got the speakers. I'm like, please play something. You join me probably like 2 hours down the road. It has been quite a boring 2 hours. I got stuck in quite a lot of traffic. I did stop for fuel, but I forgot to reset the mileometer, so I wasn't able to calculate MPG, so I'll do that at the next fuel stop. But I have now made it into Devon and past Exeter, so I'm going to turn off the big roads because past these trees out there somewhere, there are a lot of exciting tracks that I can go and explore, which is partly what I want to do with this vehicle. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I want to take this thing places that I don't usually go. And actually, on that note, quickly talk to you about some plans for next year, because this is another little teaser road trip, I suppose. It's a way to get some miles under the belt on this thing. But moving forward and into next year, this will be my real adventure mobile. And I've been talking to the legends at Swissquote Bank Europe, who you might remember I teamed up with last year to do that cross America trip in the Boxster, one of my favourite trips of the last 10 years I think that I've done. And I want to work with them to do like some real cool stuff. So there's a desert in Spain. Did you know there's a desert in Spain? I didn't know there's a desert in Spain. Swissquote Bank Europe were telling me about that. what about taking this car there? Or maybe at the start of next year doing like a snow mission up to Scandinavia with this thing. That would be incredible. And the guys at Swissquote Bank Europe have amazing connections all over Europe to these kind of exclusive hotels and destinations and so they're cooking up ideas essentially. Also, just on the whole Swissquote Bank Europe thing, I did sell that Boxster, by the way, and I've got that money lurking around, so I'm a bit like, maybe I use the sort of money that I got back from the sale of the Boxster to kind of invest into the car to get it really, like, maybe I don't think I'm going to put a roof tent on it because I don't want to camp, but a snorkel, like I put a snorkel on it, or like, I don't know, something, a winch, because I might get stuck. Just cool stuff like that. Let's wait and see. But anyway, more on that a little bit later. Right now, I'm going to get off these big roads because I'm really bored of just trundling along here. And we are in Devon, so somewhere the other side of these trees, there are tracks that I can go and explore and spice up this journey in, and yeah, put this car and myself to the test and learn, so that next year, when I embark on these big adventures, whatever Swissquote Bank Europe will plan for me, I know that I'm ready. I'm training myself here, people. Slightly regretting this decision. This is Sims Hill. I thought it'd be a fun interlude into my journey, but the journey down Sims Hill has resulted in, I think, most of Stu from F1 Wax's good work being undone. I'm so sorry, Stu, because you've probably watched this video. I've literally just re-scratched all the paint, so I'm gonna have to book you back in. But I guess that's Land Rover life, right? If I'm sitting here taking too good care of this thing, I'm not using it properly. The real concern is what's behind the camera, because I've just come around the corner and seen a mountain. Oh my God, I instantly regret this decision. Online, it was like a great low-level amateur hill for novices. This is genuinely like doing your first track day during the Le Mans 24 hour. Like, it's not going to look steep on camera. I don't know what I was trying to prove there. I was hoping the rock was going to dramatically roll down the hill. All I've done is get my hands dirty. Right, whether I need it or not, I've engaged the low gear ratio and the diff lock. Might be overkill, but I'm a novice here. Now the crazy thing is, another reason that I came to this hill, not only because it was recommended as being fairly straightforward, is because since the 1930s, they've run a trial here where rear-wheel drive vehicles come up this hill. So this should be straightforward. Don't know why I'm absolutely cacking myself. So, first gear, let me just make sure that I am in the, yeah, there we go, low gear ratio. And I believe momentum is key. So into second, and constant steady acceleration, I believe, nothing crazy. Just get up that hill, Sam, come on, get up that hill. Don't break traction, don't roll backwards. Okay, around the corner, and now the steep stuff begins. Here we go. Whoa. Oh my God, we're okay. We're okay. Yep. Still going. Oh, there's some sharp rocks. Oh, there's some very sharp rocks. I'm slipping and sliding quite a lot. Way too much speed. So, first gear, find the biting point. There we go, slow and steady. I'm going to come back off some of the rocks a bit. I'm on a super slippery rock right now. Okay, crawling, really crawling. I'm going to come off the big, sharp rock. Ah, okay, okay. Aha! I had not engaged diff lock. I had not engaged diff lock correctly because I am a novice. I have now engaged diff lock, and this car is unbelievable. Oh, oh. Yes, I'm just an idiot, basically. tiny bit embarrassed by that situation, but it's all about learning. I'm preparing myself so that in future adventures I know to engage diff lock, I just got to be a bit more hands-on. I mean, let's not forget this is a 36-year-old car. As with any classics, you need to be a bit more, well, yeah, rough-handed than you might think. And, well, it's a Land Rover and I'm just probably a bit too delicate. Too many flat whites in my era to be like, ooh, I'll just engage diff lock. Now you've got to go, oh, and look for the light. That should have been the obvious clue, really, shouldn't it? Because the minute that was engaged, it's kind of sailed up that hill. So yes, as I say, I am out here learning, people, and I am having fun. And whilst I am brimming with the confidence of Ray Mears or Bear Grylls, ready to take on whatever other hills might be thrown at me, now that I know how to engage diff lock, I do think I might quit whilst I'm ahead. Also because I feel like I've ended up on somebody's farm. I also don't really know the rules of like green laning. I'm looking out for like the byway signs, but this definitely feels like someone's house. Oh God, another hill, and I'm not engaged in anything. Come on, little car, this is where maybe the tyres will come into their own. Maybe I don't need the diff locks and the low box. Yes, confidence and momentum and speed. And I think that's a locked gate. Oh no, oh no. Okay, well, as I said, yeah. Quit whilst I'm ahead. Let's go find some tarmac. Well, good morning. It's the next day. I arrived here in Cornwall quite late last night. Well, actually it wasn't that late, but of course at this time of year it gets dark so early, so it was pitch black when I arrived and none of my cameras worked that well in the dark, so my vlog went quickly quite downhill. I was also just a bit knackered because it was a long day, lots of miles, that kind of off-roading experience, and yeah, so essentially I went to the pub for some dinner and passed out cold. So you joined me the next morning, and essentially what I'm going to do now is load up the car and head back to my mum's. I've dropped off the stuff that she needed me to drop off, and I'm just going to make the journey back. But before I do that, I want to head down the road to grab some lunch at a really cool spot that I'll show you. Before we set off, I should probably just give you an update on the car and do some checks, some like mechanical checks, I suppose. Now, whilst I love the work that Stu from F1 Wax did to kind of restore this Baltic blue paintwork, I have to say I'm really enjoying this car being so muddy, so dirty. I just think Land Rovers look better covered in muck and grime. I could actually make this thing dirtier if I tried a little bit harder. I'm not sure I'm going to have a chance to do that today, but anyway, let's wait and see. Either way, I'm not certain I want to wash this thing before I get it back to my mum's, because I think it just looks cool. It looks like it's been somewhere and done something. One thing I'm not sure looks so cool though, these tyres. I know I mentioned them a lot yesterday. These are these BF Goodrich KO3s that a lot of the sort of off-road overlanding world made a big deal of when they launched, and they seemed great yesterday. I actually think the on-road performance was really good. The ride felt a bit smoother and calmer than they performed as they probably should have on that sort of brief off-roading section that I did, but I just think the fitment's wrong, or the sizing is wrong. Maybe it's the wheels. I have these very small 16-inch Steelies. These tyre sizes were advised by BF Goodrich themselves. They just look too small on the car. These are 215s. The previous tyres I had were 235s. They sat a little better. I don't know. Either I need to get bigger Steelies or change up the tyres, but I kind of want to keep the KO3s because they seem really good and I kind of like the look of them, but yeah, so I've got to have a think about that. Otherwise, not a lot to report. Last night I went to the pub to get some dinner because, well, the house was empty, and I did notice there was some liquid gathering here and some wetness in that area. I panicked for a second, but everything seems fine. I can't really work out what would have been dripping from there, so maybe it was just dampness and wetness from the day. I checked everything over, everything seems fine, but I didn't check actual oil levels, so let's do that real quick. Oh, and I have an update on MPG as well. So I was surprised to work out that I did 22 MPG in this car yesterday, which I thought was pretty good going, because I did a whole load of miles on the motorway, doing like 70 odd miles an hour, a bit of that off-roading section, some of the country roads, like a variety of roads, and yeah, I think 22 MPG is pretty good. There's a little bit of dampness here on the engine, like oily dampness. That doesn't look great, but let's just ignore that for now. Check the oil level. I've found an old COVID face mask in the car, which I'm going to use to wipe that clean. It was running really smoothly, this engine, yesterday. I had no complaints, but Yeah, I didn't put my head underneath the bonnet. It's my first time doing so. Oh yeah, oil is super healthy. It's like I've basically hardly made an impact into that, so that's very positive. But not so sure that the actual. Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed that we make it back in one piece. Everything else looks all right, I think. Now, if you've never been to Cornwall before, you may be slightly surprised by, firstly, how narrow some of these lanes are, and also how intense some of the hills are. So it is sometimes a bit of a workout, and I actually remember Dad, every time he came down, was like, oh my God, how do you get 2 cars down these lanes? He actually used to hate driving here, maybe which is why I had to do all the driving when we came down, whenever it was, 10 or 12 years ago. I always enjoy it, and I actually think it's why something like this is so perfectly suited. You see big modern Defenders or Range Rovers or other large SUVs actually really struggling because of how tight and narrow everything is. Well, in this you just kind of keep up the momentum and swing around these lanes. And I got like a sort of 20-minute drive down to somewhere called the Hidden Hut, which is this amazing, sort of permanently installed but pop-up feeling restaurant on the beach, essentially. Oh, 911. Oh, it's a Turbo S. Oh. Now, I think that's deeply inappropriate for Cornwall, because he's about to go down the lane that I just drove down and probably have a heart attack if a car comes on the way, because you just have to get into the hedge. Still very cool to see, and I'm quite jealous. But I feel far more like I'm fitting in today in this. Got myself a steak pasty as well, because I'm fat, might take that in the car with me, and a brownie and a ginger beer. And now I get to sit here, taking that view, eat this amazing food before setting off. Cornwall is quite perfect like this. Always manages to just like chill me out. It feels like you've actually gone away. I know I've come for 12 hours on a bit of a mission. I always want to spend more time when I get down here, so maybe that's what I need to do. But all in all, a very successful trial trip. Long distance, done. Off-roading, done. Mechanically there, like everything's come together. It's just maybe the tyres that I want to review. It means that now me and the team at Swissquote Bank Europe can get to planning those big adventures for next year. I think kickstarting in January or February, I'm not sure. But anyway, do I dip straight away? I think I probably do. I've got to try this bad boy to sign off the video. Let's just get that in there. And then, goodbye. I'm gonna eat this.